Yo, it's Third Grow Club, the channel's finna ignite. SaiyanXFlash, dropping knowledge every night. Born from pixels, shadows, wires sparking the light. Hey guys, SaiyanXFlash with Nerd Grow Club. Today we're going to go ahead and discuss lighting. The type of LED that you want, or HPS if that's your thing. HPS isn't going to be my thing. I like to save money and my energy. But we're going to also discuss the PAR, the ppfd, and the DLI. So that way you can best decide what's going to be working for your situation as far as your lighting schedule goes. If you're going to grow photos, it's going to be a little different. If you're going to grow autos, it's going to be a little different. So we're going to go ahead and discuss all this today. But while we're at it, go ahead and comment down below what type of lighting you use and how you like it. Also, hit that notify, hit that subscribe, and let's get to the video. So first off, I do want to discuss that LEDs is more of an opinion on me. I prefer LEDs. Obviously, most people will also tell you that LEDs are more proficient in what they do these days because they are. You know, a 200 watt LED is the same comparison as a 600 watt HPS, and that's why I've made that difference to go to my 200 watts. I got dual 200 watts in my own tent that you see behind me. You guys are going to be seeing some of that soon. Don't worry, don't stress out. Now, the first step in deciding what lights that you want to use is going to be based off the space that you have available. Obviously, that's very important. So whatever you're growing in, you want to make sure that that light's going to fit in there perfectly, as well as maintain the light structure for all of your wonderful plants that you're going to be growing. Now, with that being said, there's obviously lots of options. You can go with AC Infinity, Spider Farmer, Mars Hydro, Vivo Sun. There's lots of those. Currently, I'm using Vivo Sun, and that's fantastic. But I do want to try AC Infinity's newer products because I hear their Evo product line for their lighting is awesome, and I've seen a lot of good growth come from those lights. That's just a personal preference. Excuse the stutter. Oops. But however, I think that if the option works for you, that's going to be the best situation. No matter what product it is, it's got to work for you. So one thing that could be a helpful tool if you don't have the money to go ahead and buy yourself a PAR meter. I currently don't use a PAR meter. They're pretty expensive, but I am going to get one soon. You can use the app called Photon. Photon is pretty simple. It uses your phone sensors to judge the lighting. It helps you with your ppfd and DLI the most. Now, these are so important, again, to your grow to be stable that it's just something that you should have. It's a free app. You don't have to pay for it. All you got to do is use it, point it at the lights, and there you go. They do say that you should follow the recommendations, that you should have a filter cover over it to protect your phone and your sensors from the lights. So you should probably follow those. I don't. I'm not the brightest cookie sometimes. However, this is the app. Use it. One of the first parts of the puzzle that we should discuss with lighting is PAR. PAR is photosynthetic active radiation. What this means for you is, in the term of PAR, it should be used to help fully realize the optimal lighting layout and usage that you have, as well as it's important to consider when you're purchasing your grow lights. They'll usually show you a nice little puzzle there that shows you the PAR rating 900, 1200, and then it'll spread out and it'll get lower. You'll see the kind of heat chart and the lighting chart to kind of show you what that light will do. To ensure that you fully understand how much PAR they produce, that way you can make the best choice for you. Now, the reason why this is so important because you'll realize is that your plants have a certain NM that they need to go ahead and develop and grow tall at different stages. And this is what also leads us to the next part of this. So the next part of this for me is ppfd, photosynthetic photon flux density. Now, the reason why this is so important is it shows how many UMOLs that your plant will get. It's important to determine the ppfd data by looking at the grow light manufacturers' statistics, so they fully explain how much light they actually produce as far as ppfd UMOLs. This is important to decide how much DLI you need because, again, you kind of have layers to this, right? Different stages take different amounts, and this is something that's very important. It's going to be important when we start discussing lighting schedule here in a little bit because you have 24 hours, 20 hours, especially with Autoflowers, and then you have 18/6, which is very popular, and then you have the 12/12 for photos when you flip them and turn them into flowers. Now, the reason why ppfd is also so important because it's going to help you judge your distance from your flower. Now, typically, it's anywhere from 12 to 24 inches, typically, because you want to prevent that plant from stretching and getting too thin. However, sometimes it differs. Sometimes your lights are a little brighter. You want to tone them down a little bit by percentage. I run some of my lights at 60% sometimes, especially early on in the beginning, so I can run them lower to the ground and get them closer to the plant. I run about 12 to 24 inches typically, depending on the stages of the plant. So far, so good. But know that if it's too close, you can burn your plants, and that could be detrimental to your grow. So that's why we're going to go ahead and discuss the DLI factor of this. So DLI is the daily light integral. The reason why this is so important is because your plant can only take so much light in to continue producing. Now, I know there are some people out there that are autoflowers, and they, which is primarily what I've been growing, and they feel that 24 hours is a great schedule. For me, it can be if you do the right DLI. However, I've found in my own results, this is only my personal testing so far, that my plants actually prefer either 18/6 or 24. So that way I have lights on 20 hours, lights off for 4, or lights on for 18, off for 6. The reason why this seems to be working so well for me is I feel like your plants get a time to rest and relax and kind of take everything in. And then they get to open up and use all the nutrients that you provided for them to grow tall, big, and fat little buds. You'll figure this out eventually, that DLI is going to be the biggest key factor that you can use. As far as for me, that's been my biggest thing, is DLI has helped figure out the schedule that I need to maintain. So suggestion, if you want to get a little deeper dive on this, definitely do some more research. But again, comment down below. Let me know what your lighting is. Let me know how many hours you're using on your plants. Are you doing photos? Are you doing autos? It doesn't matter. I want to hear all about it. So tell me about your plants and comment below. So the one factor after figuring everything out, DLI, ppfd, and PAR, is now being able to set your schedule. You can set your autoflowers to 18 hours, 20 hours, 24 hours, really anything in between that, as long as they're getting a set amount of light and DLI that the plants need to grow big, strong, and bud out. Now, the other thing is that you want to take into note is that autoflowers are different than photos. They do different things. Obviously, photo plants, you have to flip them yourselves. So you're going to want to do a little research on that. Currently, we are testing autoflowers. Eventually, we'll be getting into photos. But for now, I appreciate you guys. Yo, it's Third Grow Club, the channel's finna ignite.